نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All brothers are requested to read the Durood Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa sallam. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. صدق الله العظيم. In this verse of the Holy Quran Sharif, in Surah Al-Baqarah, the verse number is 183. This is of Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, O people who believe, fasting has been made compulsory upon you as it was made compulsory upon those people who were here before you, so that you may become God-fearing. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Now, just before we talk about this topic of Ramadan and fast, I would like to say that this is a time to reflect. What is Ramadan? It is a time to reflect. Why? Because when we are in Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that take time out from the busy life, from the hustle bustle of everyday life and all the things that you are doing. And what do? Try to connect to your Lord. Try to put everything back into perspective and do the purpose of life. And what is the purpose of life? Connecting with your Lord, your Creator, with love and with obedience. So I'm just going to mention a few points about Ramadan. The first, obviously, what do you have to do in Ramadan? And secondly, what are the benefits? And thirdly, I will just round it on. Alright. So in the beginning, in this verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that fasting is compulsory. And it is a command of Allah. And you must do this fast just like the people of before in the holy month of Ramadan. They used to fast as well. Fasting is not only for the Ummah of the Holy Messenger, peace be upon him. Fasting is also an virtuous act which the people of before used to do. But their fasting was a lot more difficult. They used to fast for 24 hours. And inshallah, if Allah wills, we will discuss that on some other occasion. But for the Ummah of the Holy Messenger, peace be upon him, like the other blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has done, He's made it more easier. The fast of the Ummah of the Holy Messenger, peace be upon him, is a lot more shorter. And we just have to fast from dawn till dusk. Now, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a command, you must know that there is lots and lots of wisdom behind this. One of the benefits of fasting is this, that when a person fasts, what does he do? He feels the pangs of hunger. Now, on the face of this, when you feel the pangs of hunger, how can that ever be a good thing? But in reality, if you think about it, what are you doing? You are giving your digestive system a rest. Because most of these illnesses which are caused to the human body is due to overeating. And obviously, if you overeat, it can lead to lots of other illnesses, etc. But when you're fasting, you feel the pangs of hunger. And who feels this? The rich feel all this, just like the poor. So this is creating a bridge between the rich and the poor as well. If you study Islam, you will find out that every aspect of Islam is universal. It is for all. There's no division. There's no different rule for the rich. There's no different rule for the poor. There's no different rule for the black. There's no different rule for the white. It's universal. It's for everyone. So from this aspect you can understand that Islam is beautiful and it has truly come from the creator of the universe. So when the rich people they fast, they will know what it feels like to be poor, and hopefully it will create a bridge between the rich and the poor, and the rich will feel like paying, giving zakat, giving charity to the poor to make their life better as well, so that they can be successful in this life and the next. Also, the most important aspect of fasting is this, that when you fast, what do? You are becoming God-fearing, and this is one aspect which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala points out again and again and again in the Holy Quran Sharif, that you become God-conscious, become God-fearing, fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on the face of it, this seems very, very bad as well. For the normal person, what do they say? They say, why should we have fear in our life? Why should we be scared of anyone or anything? Fear is horrible. But to have fear of your creator is positive. Why? It's just like your lovely parents, your mother. Now, she knows what's good for the child. She knows what's bad for the child. And no matter how much a child will cry and say, I want to eat this tablet because it looks like a sweet, the mother will not give this tablet to the child. Why? Because she knows that this is not a sweet, this is a medicine, and if you eat this medicine, the child may harm himself. So out of love, what will the mother do? She will stop the child from taking this medicine and from taking this pill which looks like a sweet that can harm the child. No matter how much the child or the baby cries, no matter how much the baby cries or the child cries, what will happen is the mother will not give in. And who put the love in the mother's heart and the father's heart for the child? The source is none other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves His creation, and He wants the best of both worlds for His creation. So those people who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a positive thing, because the few restrictions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given, that don't do this, and for example, don't take intoxicants. If we accept that, it means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can see the bigger picture, and He knows that so many millions and millions, maybe billions of people die to taking these intoxicants. Their lives are wrecked, their families are wrecked. It causes so much illnesses, it causes so much pain, so much grief, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want people to have all that. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given a few restrictions. However, when a person is fasting, what is it about? It is this, that it's a personal connection with your Lord. Because nobody on earth can tell whether you are eating or whether you are drinking. Because nobody is going to be monitoring you for 24 hours or from dawn till dusk. If anybody wants to hide and go to the kitchen and they want to eat or they want to drink, nobody will know. The only person who will know is your Creator, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will know whether you have eaten or whether you have drink or whether you drank anything. So this is what is all this about? It's to build a personal connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows whether you have eaten or not. So this is not about just starving yourself. This is not about just staying thirsty. This is about being aware, God conscious, that Allah, your Creator, is watching you. He's watching me. And because He is watching me, that's why I am aware that Allah is watching me, and one day I have to stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and answer for everything that I have done. That's why I will obey Him now, and I will please my Lord, so that on the day of judgment and in this life, Allah, who is my Lord, my Creator, will be pleased with me. Now obviously in the holy month of Ramadan, there are many deeds, many actions that a person can do. Everybody knows. We just touched upon fasting. Secondly, the tarawih, the praying of the salah at night time, after Isha salah. Similarly, people giving the zakah in the holy month of Ramadan, but you can give the zakah out of Ramadan as well. But in one great hadith, 4 things have been mentioned as well. And one of those things is this, that first of all, the Holy Messenger, peace be upon him, he said that when Ramadan comes, what do? You do, amongst other things, you do these 4 things. And what is this? The first one is that you do the zikr of the kalima as much as possible. You do istighfar, you turn to Allah in repentance, and you seek His forgiveness for all the mistakes you've made and the sins that a person has done. And also do dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you Jannah, paradise, heaven, and to save you from the pits of Jahannam and the blazing fire of hell. And also in Ramadan there is one very great night. It is called Laylatul Qadr. You look for this night in one of the odd last 10 nights of Ramadan, which is the 21st, 3rd, 5th, 7th and the 9th. If you find this night, you worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Laylatul Qadr, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the rewards of worshipping Him for more than 1,000 months worth of worship, which is Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. That Laylatul Qadr is better than 1,000 months worth of worship, which is equivalent to 83 years and 4 months. And what does this mean? It means that the people of before, they had very long lifespans. Like Allah says in the Holy Quran Sharif, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا نُوحًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِ فَلَبِثَ فِيهِمْ أَلْفَ سَنَةٍ إِلَّا خَمْسِينَ عَامًا. That we sent Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam to his nation, and he stayed there preaching to them, giving them dawah for 1,000 years but 50. And how much is that? That is 950 years that he just gave them dawah. So this is a clear fact in the Holy Quran Sharif, that Hazrat Nuh alayhi salatu wasalam, he preached to his nation for 950 years, which means that in time gone by, according to the Quran, people had very long lifespans. So when the Holy Master, peace be upon him, once he was giving nasiha, he was telling the Sahaba Ikram anhu that the people of before, they did great acts of worship and they had very long lifespans. The Sahaba, they felt sad, and he said, why are you feeling sad? He said, then on the day of judgment we will never be able to compete with them when it comes to good deeds. They had long lifespans and they did so much good actions. We will never be able to compete with them. Then the Holy Messenger, peace be upon him, became sad. And then when the Holy Messenger, peace be upon him, became sad, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comforted him by sending down Surah Al-Qadr and saying, "O Prophet of Allah, do not be sad. We will give you one night in Ramzan, which is Laylatul Qadr, and anybody who worships Allah in that one night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the reward of 1,000, more than 1,000 months worth of worship, which I've already explained, which is equivalent to 83 years and 4 months. So if you just get this one night, you will get all this tremendous amount of reward, and then on the day of judgment you will be able to compete with the people of the past. However, it is not about shortcuts. It is not about taking the shortcuts, because in Ramzan, every second of Ramzan is precious. Like the Holy Messenger has explained, that the reward of a sunnah is multiplied to the reward of a farz, and if you do a farz, it is multiplied 70 times. And so every second of Ramadan is precious. And the example I can give is this, that for example, if we find out just today that the rate of the money, whichever country you come from, for example in this country is the pound, has climbed up, then what do you want to do? You want to, especially if you have gone to another country, you want to quickly make the most of it. Send the pound or the equivalent currency, compare it with another currency, and take the benefit of whatever the price is, etc. But in Ramadan, it is like every second of Ramadan, every second the rate is high. So even if you say the Subhanallah once, you say the Takbir once, you do the Salah once, it is multiplied by minimum 70 times. And then obviously in the holy month of Ramadan, you can do the i'tikaf. Again, when you are doing seclusion, you are inside the masjid, you are trying to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But last but not least, I would like to say that in the holy month of Ramadan, the Quran, read the Quran as much as possible, because the Quran is the special words, is Kalamullah, is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He gave you the Quran with love. And this is a book from Allah. It's like a letter from your beloved to you. And anyone who sends you a letter with love, what do? You cherish it, you read it again and again, because you know it is from your beloved. So the Quran has a very, very special connection with Ramadan. Just like all the previous books, even the scrolls of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, they were given in Ramadan on the first or the third. Similarly, the Torah, they say that the Torah which was given to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was given in the 6th of Ramadan. The Zabur, which was given to Dawud alayhi salatu wasalam, was given on the 18th of Ramadan. Similarly, the Injil, the Holy Bible, was given on the 13th of Ramadan in one narration. And even the Holy Quran Sharif, all of it, from Lawh Mahfuz to Asma' Dunya, was revealed in the Ramadan, and then from Asma' Dunya to this world over a period of 23 years. So there is a very, very special connection between Ramadan and the Quran Sharif. So try to read the Holy Quran Sharif, and also the translation, read the commentary, read the tafsir, the explanation of the Holy Quran Sharif of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking to you directly. Try to implement it in your Quran Sharif, in your heart, in your life as well. Practice the Holy Quran Sharif, and most important, propagate. Why? Because just like my son Muhammad, he was pointing out to me earlier on, that the hearts, because the shaitan is locked up in the holy month of Ramadan, the hearts of people are very, very soft. So you can give the dawah, propagate the Quran Sharif in the holy month of Ramadan, because the people's hearts are very soft in this month, because the shaitan is locked up, and the people are a lot more receptive. This point was given by my son Muhammad. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enable us to practice upon what has been said, and wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.